Hello, this is Ludolphin here for Sentinels of the Multiverse Weekly One-Shot number 64. Platform on a cloud. There's a platform on a cloud. I like to go there in my dreams. Aren't any men with scary schemes? Not in my platform on the ground. There is a lady all in red, keeps me safe and keeps me fed. She's nice to see and she doesn't fuss. She says, Vanessa, your place is here with us. I know a place where no one's lost. I know a place where no one cries. Crying at all is not allowed. Not on my platform on a cloud. This one-shot requires shattered timelines and vengeance. This is Advanced Dreamer versus Adamant Sentinels, I think? I think that's variant Sentinels. Chrono-Ranger, Raw Horus of Two Horizons, and Parse on the mobile defense platform. Advanced Dreamer is going to be fun. I once played against her with Night Mist, and I wanted to clear the board of projections, and I thought that I could do it if I use an Oblivion, but I forgot her advanced text on her front side only pertains to, not manifestations, projections? Only pertains to projections, and not to herself, so she would have died, and the game would have been over in one turn. But let's see how this one goes. Everyone, into Alpha formation, just like we practiced. We're ready for this. So, the Adamant Sentinels starts with Fling into Darkness, Positive Energy, Sentinel Tactics, and Telekinetic Wallop. Chrono-Ranger starts with 2 bounty boards, a Displaced Armory, and Ranger's Mark. Raw Horus of Two Horizons starts with Scorched Earth, Solar Flare, the Staff of Ra, and Wrathful Gaze. And Parse starts with Buffer Overflow, Critical Multiplier, and 2 Impossible Shots. So, the Dreamer. She has 6 HP, so she's easy, right? Villain, the Dreamer dreams. Setup. At the start of the game, the Dreamer enters play, the Dreamer dreams side up. Cards are revealed from the top of the villain deck until 4 projection cards are revealed and put into play. Other revealed cards are returned to the villain deck, which is shuffled. Gameplay. At the start of the villain turn, if there are no projection cards in play, 4 hero ongoing cards are destroyed and the Dreamer flips. Whenever the Dreamer would be dealt damage by an environment card, the players may redirect it to the hero character card with the lowest HP. If the Dreamer is reduced to 0 or fewer HP, removed from the game, or otherwise destroyed, the heroes lose the game. Advanced. Reduce damage dealt to projections by 1. So as I said, her advanced text only applies to projections and not to all villain targets, so damage dealt to the Dreamer is not modified, but damage dealt to projections is reduced by 1. So we can't destroy her, we can't remove her from the game, we can't reduce her to 0 or fewer, because then the heroes lose the game. But what we can do is destroy all of her projections, and if we do that, she flips at the start of her turn. So if the environment makes the villain play a card, and it's a projection, and we had already cleared the board of projections, that would be sad, but I don't think this environment has villain card plays. Once she flips, she becomes a villain roused from slumber. Gameplay. Whenever a projection card is destroyed, it is placed under this card. At the start of the villain turn, if there are 8 cards under this card, the heroes win the game. Whenever the Dreamer will be dealt damage by an environment card, players may redirect it to the hero character card with the lowest HP. If the Dreamer is reduced to 0 or fewer HP or otherwise destroyed, the heroes lose the game. At the end of the villain turn, the Dreamer deals each non-villain target 2 psychic damage, then the top 2 cards of the villain deck are played. Advanced. Increased damage dealt by villain targets by 1. So, on either side of the Dreamer, we cannot kill her. Because she's a 6-year-old child, even though her dreams are violent nightmares, we cannot kill her. Because she's just a 6-year-old child. I think she's 6, that's why her HP is 6, but who knows. So the way to win this game, she starts with 4 projections. If we destroy all of the projections by the start of her turn, she flips. And she destroys 4 ongoing cards when she flips, so be careful of that. On her flip side, she becomes a little more violent, but victory is within reach. Every time we destroy a projection, it is placed underneath her, And if we manage to get 8 cards underneath her and survive until the start of her next turn, the heroes win. So that's what we have to do. So she is a villain target, so any hero effects that target all villain targets will affect her. So if we damage all villain targets, we will hurt her. We can only redirect damage if it's dealt by an environment card and not by a hero card or villain card. Although villain cards don't damage her. But we have to be careful that we don't kill her in our attempts to win. So, without further ado, let us start the game. First 4 projections are Grotesque Arachnoid. Projection. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the 3 non-villain targets with the highest HP 2 toxic damage each. Tooth Fairy. Projection. At the end of the villain turn, each player discards 1 card. Then, this card deals any hero character card whose player has no cards in hand 3 toxic damage. Another Grotesque Arachnoid. And Illusory Demon. Projection. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the non-villain target with the highest HP 4 infernal damage. When this card is destroyed, destroy 1 hero ongoing card. And her card play. The Toy Master. Projection. At the start of the villain turn, this card deals the non-villain target with the highest HP X psychic damage, where X equals the number of equipment cards in play plus 1. So all of these are targeting non-villain targets with the highest HP. So if the environment happens to get a higher HP target out there, they will be damaged. But thankfully they're all targeting the highest, so it's a little nicer than targeting the lowest, but they're all doing damage to high HP targets. So the Tooth Fairy unfortunately forces us to discard cards, which in some aspects is worse than losing HP. So you have to be careful here. So like Positive Energy, this is a card that you could play just for heroes to regain 1 hit point. But if the Idealist is active, she then deals each villain target 2 psychic damage, which includes the Dreamer, so she will take 2 points of damage. And on this side, this will do only 1 point of damage to the other projections. So it is good for AoE, but it's not good for hitting the Dreamer. One way to think about the Dreamer's 6 HP is that we can treat that as sort of like a 5 HP buffer, so if we want to hit all villain targets, we can, as long as we don't hit her for more than 5 points total. But generally, I just try to avoid hitting her altogether. Telekinetic Wallop, on the other hand, doesn't do AoE damage, but it does do spread damage, and we can control the damage it does, so that's a little better than Positive Energy, except we don't get HP recovery. Fling into Darkness we could use to destroy the Dreamer on the first turn. But it's also a really good card, especially with damage reduction, because if we play this on anything that's not an Arachnoid, that target will be immediately destroyed. So of these 4 cards, I think Positive Energy is the least valuable. Oh, I didn't look at Sentinel Tactics, but Sentinel Tactics is nice when you can combo with other effects because you get extra power uses, especially if you get to do damage outside of your turn. And I want to hold on to that one, so we're going to lose Positive Energy. Chrono-Ranger has a card that searches his deck or trash for an equipment card, and he has 3 cards that deal with bounties in his trash. And since he doesn't have any bounties in hand, those are probably less valuable than Displaced Armory. And Ranger's Mark I tend to value better than Bounty Board, because Bounty Board moves all the bounty cards into your hand, whereas Ranger Mark only moves 1 card, but it puts it into play, which is generally where you want the bounty. So I'm going to lose a Bounty Board, especially since I have 2 of those. Scorched Earth. This one's an interesting one, because it also hits each non-hero target, so it would hit the Dreamer, but it could be manipulated so that we hit villain targets, not the non-Dreamer villain targets first, then take out environment cards. Then, once all the environment cards are gone, we deal 0 damage to the Dreamer. But it's not good if there are damage increases to Raw anyway. Wrathful Gaze is usually a card that would get thrown away because it's like a quote-unquote waste of a power, but especially if Dark Heroes come out, Wrathful Gaze will be very valuable at getting rid of villain targets with damage reduction. Solar Flare, I don't really manage to keep this in play for long, and Staff of Ra is always good to use. So normally I would probably think about discarding Wrathful Gaze, but I think that's going to end up being valuable in this game, so I think I'm going to lose Scorched Earth instead. So Buffer Overflow is a card that we're going to utilize in this game, so we're going to hold on to that one. Critical Multiplier is one of Parse's good cards. I mean, almost every card in her deck is good. An Impossible Shot deals irreducible damage, which is great already because of the damage reduction, as well as provides card draws. So all 4 of these cards are good, but I think all 40 of Parse's cards are good anyway, so it's always going to be hard to figure out which one is the least valuable. But I think since we have 2 Impossible Shots, and I want to keep Buffer Overflow and maybe Critical Multiplier, I'll get rid of Impossible Shot. And then we do more damage. Since everyone still has cards in hand, no damage was dealt by the Tooth Fairy, but the Tooth Fairy is going to keep us discarding cards, so we have to be careful with that. So there are 5 projections in play, and if we can destroy all of them, then the Dreamer flips. Another thing about the Dark Hero, I'm going to pull up his card briefly, but just like Advanced Text, the damage reduction effect only applies to projection cards, so it's harder to hit them, but the Dreamer is still easy to hit, so gotta be careful with that one. Alright, so Fling in the Darkness. This would do 2 melee damage to a projection, and if that projection then has 4 or fewer, it gets destroyed, so we could use this to immediately destroy Tooth Fairy, Illusory Demon, or Toymaster. Sentinel Tactics would allow for second power use. I'm not sure if that would be better or worse, though. Telekinetic Wallop. If the Idealist deals this damage, it's 3 targets, 3 psychic damage, it will become 2, so 2 psychic damage to 3 projections, which is the same amount of damage as Fleeing in the Darkness, and we won't get the immediate destruction effect, but we can damage 2 more things. So all 3 of these cards are pretty good. Let's take a look at these Adamant powers that we have. Regeneration, each of the Sentinels regains 1 HP, you may draw a card. Since all the Sentinels are at max HP, the HP recovery effect isn't super useful, but we get to draw an extra card. Haymaker deals 2 melee damage, and the next damage dealt to that target is irreducible, and we might utilize this if we can to try to get Chrono-Ranger to take out a projection, say. The Idealist deals 1 target 1 psychic damage until the start of the next turn. Reduce damage dealt by a target dealt damage this way by 1. Unfortunately, because of the damage reduction, we can't really utilize TK Thump unless we target the Dreamer, which is actually not a bad idea at some point in this game, especially once the Dreamer has flipped. We do have 5 HP of leeway on the Dreamer, and this only deals 1 psychic damage, so we could use this to reduce the Dreamer's damage in the next round, whenever she deals damage. And then the Shroud. The next time a non-hero target is destroyed, we move it to the bottom of its deck. Generally only useful if there are effects that pull cards from trashes, which I don't think exists in this match. Maybe not Mobile Defense Platform. I'm not 100% familiar with that deck. Alright, so now that I've done a whole whole rundown of all of the cards that we have, like Sentinel Tactics would be nice if I had a second power that would be useful, but the only one that seems useful right now is Haymaker. So I might just use that on my power phase and not use any other power. So I think Fling in the Darkness ultimately is the best one. So which one to take out? Well, if I take out the Illusory Demon, we don't get the hero ongoing card Destruction because there are none in play. This also deals 4 infernal damage. Tooth Fairy is making us discard cards, but that one's probably the easier one to get rid of. It only has 3 HP. Toymaster deals damage, only deals 1 target damage. The damage is based on the number of equipment cards in play. But right now it's not that big of a deal. It's only 1 damage. If Chrono-Ranger gets an equipment in play, it'll become 2. If Ra gets the Staff of Ra out, that becomes 3. Oh yeah, by the way, since this is variant Ra, his base power doesn't deal damage, so Ra can't really deal damage right now. But Parse can. Parse has 2 damage there. Let's see. Yeah, I think taking out the illusory demon, just so that we don't have to deal with it. And it doesn't matter who deals this as long as Wraith is active, and he, I think it's a he, is active, so doesn't matter who does it. So I think Haymaker was the right answer. And let's try to take out that Tooth Fairy because let's keep cards in hand. Sentinels draws Restorative Burst. That is HP recovery without hitting villain targets. Alright, so the next damage dealt to Tooth Fairy is irreducible. Unfortunately, most of Chrono-Ranger's damage is a single point of damage. We could do something like displace Armory into something, but we don't really have too many good choices here, because this deals 1 point of damage. Danny Boy deals 2 damage, but it's based on the number of targets is based on the number of bounty cards in play, which is 0. Jim's Hat allows for an additional card play, but we don't have cards to play. Neurotoxin Dart Thrower does 1 damage. Masada does irreducible damage, but there are 0 bounties in play, so it's 0 irreducible damage. And then Temporal Grenade does 1 point of damage. You may destroy an ongoing environment and destroy this card. I mean, generally, I would just use Displaced Armory to get Jim's Hat into play so I could play extra cards, but I don't have cards to play. So I think I would rather Displaced Armory into a better thing, or since the Toy Master is going to be dealing damage based on the number of equipment cards in play, and since I can only hit one thing right now, I might just opt not to use Displaced Armory. Because, you know, it might be better to use that if I draw a bounty. Like, if I get Masada with a bounty, that would be good. Or Danny Boy with a bounty would be good. Or bounties. Compounded Bow would be better if there weren't damage reduction, but there is. So, I think I'm just going to skip my play. And I could use my power, but the Tooth Fairy is still going to be at 1 HP and would still have to be hit by something else, and if it's hit by a pinpoint shot while it's still irreducible damage, that would probably be ideal. So I think actually Chrono-Ranger is going to skip, and I am going to do that. Chrono-Ranger draws the Masada and a Sudden Contract, so unfortunately we can't play both of them in the next turn, but we can now power up the Masada. And actually, I could Wrathful Gaze the Tooth Fairy, which would be amusing. I would probably play the Staff of Ra, except the Toy Master's damage will get increased. You know, we can make sure that the Toy Master is only doing 1 psychic damage for a while by not playing equipment cards. And the only equipment we have right now is Staff of Ra, Masada, and whatever else Chrono-Ranger wants. But let's see, does Parse have a better option? She is going to be dealing damage to something, because she doesn't have an alternate power right now. Let me double check something. The only ongoing destruction card is the Illusory Demon, so I do want to get Buffer Overflow out at some point, because when a villain card would enter play, you may discard it instead and destroy this card. When this card is destroyed, draw a card and play the top card of the villain deck. So this is a nice way of making sure that a bad villain card doesn't enter play, but you have to be careful that it doesn't get accidentally destroyed, because then an extra villain card comes out. So if I get the Illusory Demon out, and then I destroy the Illusory Demon, and Buffer Overflow is the only ongoing card out, it will get destroyed, and another villain card gets played. I don't know, though. So, I don't want a Solar Flare because I can't deal damage right now. Staff of Ra would give me a damage-dealing power, and I could actually use that to destroy the Tooth Fairy, but that'd be a little bit of a waste, because if I was going to destroy the Tooth Fairy, I might as well just use Wrathful Gaze. Although this would give Ra HP, but I don't know, that seems a bit boring. And we do have Sunrise, which allows for Ra to filter through his deck a bit faster. I don't know, I'm getting indecisive again. I hate it when I get indecisive. I know it just makes for boring viewing. Man, I'm trying to figure out... I think that Impossible Shot is what Parse is probably going to play, actually. To get 3 HP off a Grotesque Arachnoid. I don't know. I feel like Wrathful Gaze is a waste when I can pinpoint shot the Tooth Fairy right now. Because even if I use Impossible Shot and pinpoint shot on the Toymaster, he'll be down to 1. Still can't be destroyed. I think I'll just put Wrathful Gaze out, so it's there for ongoing fodder. And then let's Sunrise. So draw 3, Staff of Ra, Fire Blast, Solar Flare. So I want to keep Fire Blast. I don't think I'm going to use both Solar Flares in a game. I would hate to discard Staff of Ra. The nice thing about Staff of Ra is you can play it as a one-shot. Regain 3 HP, deal 1 target 4 projectile damage, destroy this card. And then you can play another Staff of Ra later. I guess until Ra can get like powers that deal damage. I mean, Solar Flare is probably not going to be... Like, because the end of damage, at the end of your turn, Ra deals himself 4 psychic damage. If he takes no damage this way, this card is destroyed. He has a lot of ways of increasing damage, and if he increases damage, that becomes even worse. So I'm just going to lose the other Solar Flare. Whatever. And we get a 3rd Staff of Ra. I feel like there's a theme here. Alright. So I do have ongoing fodder now, so I could put Buffer Overflow out, and I can't kill the Toymaster. I just would be wary of a Dark Hero coming out. Oh boy. Now let's put Buffer Overflow out. It's safe right now. And we can hit the Tooth Fairy and destroy Tooth Fairy. Alright. 2 projections down, 3 to go. Recompile. This is nice when coupled with Critical Multiplier. Plus you draw a lot of cards through it. Mobile Defense Platform plays Shield Generator. Structure, reduce damage dealt to environment targets by 1. Very boring right now, when there's nothing really else out there, but we'll see how that affects things. Dreamer plays Projected Paralysis. One shot. The player with the most cards in play cannot play cards until the start of the next villain turn. So, I know it says it entered, or I know I said she played it, but we could discard it. And this card is targeting, it doesn't say it, but it's targeting Sentinels, because each of their cards, except for their instruction card, counts as 1 card in play. So Sentinels has 4 cards in play right now. Sentinels currently would not be able to play cards. But, I mean, although the Sentinels do have a lot of damage dealing means at the moment, I think that this effect is a lot better than, say, the Dark Hero. So I'm not going to discard Projected Paralysis. Adamant Sentinels cannot play cards. Here's some damage. Here's some more damage. Alright, so Sentinels can't play cards. So I think the option is either 1 point of damage, next damage is irreducible, and then whatever. Or I could skip and draw 2 cards. It's just a little unfortunate that we can't really get the Masada out without there being bounties in play. And of course, Chrono-Ranger is a little... his bounties tend to be better when piled on a single target, so Dreamer games with Chrono-Ranger are a little sad, but the whole gang is a nice card in this setup because we could have this set up so that when we destroy this target that this card is next to, we can also destroy another target that's 4 fewer HP. And then there are some other ones like... Well, this one's not exciting in this game, but Kill on Sight. When the target leaves play, draw 3 cards. Or Dead or Alive. At the start of your turn, Chrono-Ranger gains 1 HP. When the target leaves play, draw 1 card. By any means would be good. It's usually better when it's on a single target that's going to be out for the entire game, but it can be useful to destroy something faster. Like, we are going to have to find a way to take out that grotesque arachnoid at some point. Grotesque arachnoids, plural. I think let's do this so that we can progress. And Sentinels draws good hero, bad hero. Alright. So again, Toy Master's only doing 1 point of damage, so as long as I don't put an equipment out, it's only 1 point of damage. If I can sudden contract into... Kill... no. What was it? Whole gang. If I put the whole gang out, and we do 1 point of damage to Toy Master, and we take out the Grotesque Arachnoid, then Grotesque Arachnoid would take out Toy Master. So I'm gonna do that. It's good. It's still gonna use up my 1 damage, or the 1 irreducible damage, but... because everything else is having damage reduction, so... And now this power is not really doing any good. Just doing my job. Alright. I could Fire Blast the Grotesque Arachnoid, and then I could Wrathful Gaze it. But Toy Master would not be destroyed. And that's unfortunate. I want to play Staff of Ra, but... that would power up the Toy Master. I could still play Fire Blast. Then the Grotesque Arachnoid would be at 2. And then... Parse could use Pinpoint Shot on the Toy Master. And then we're good. Whatever destroys the Grotesque Arachnoid would then destroy the Toy Master. So I'm going to do that. But I don't want to kill it right now, so I'm going to use Sunrise. So we draw 3 cards, Summon Staff, Living Conflagration. So you have 3 staves and 2 Summon Staves. Summon Staff is a cyclic card. Search your deck for the Staff of Ra, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, you may draw a card, you may play a card. So when you get to play a card, it sort of acts as though you're back to your play phase, but you already have the action of searching for a Staff of Ra and then drawing a card. However, since we have 3 staves, and there's only 1 more in my deck, it's not 100% exciting because this card turns into you may draw a card, you may play a card. And while it would give me a different option, it's a little less exciting. I do also have 3 staves. And Living Conflagration is a damage-dealing power. It's only 1 fire damage, though, so it's not 100% exciting on this side of Dreamer, but with Staff of Ra, it would be able to get past the projections reductions. As well as drawing a card, so you still profit a card like Sunrise. You don't get to filter the deck as much. So let's lose the summon staff, however exciting it is, and I guess a Staff of Ra, because I could summon staff for another one, and I want to keep the living configuration. And we draw a Flame Spike. I have to be careful when I always say we draw a Flame Spike, but if you're watching on the radio, I'm not sure how you would be watching or listening on the radio, but if you're not watching what I'm doing, you don't even know who I mean by we. We draw this card. Who's we? Ra draws a card. I should start learning to speak in third person. Lude thinks this would be a little better. So, alright, I just need to do 1 point of damage to Toymaster, which I could do via Pinpoint Shot. So, critical multiplier, whenever you discard a card from hand, you can increase the next damage dealt by a hero target selected by 1. Recompile allows for card discards, but we don't have that many, and we want to utilize Impossible Shot. So, we still have ongoing fodder for Buffer Overflow, but we do have to be careful that once we do get all projections destroyed, Dreamer does destroy 4 hero ongoing cards. So we need to be able to have enough ongoing fodder. But I think I still want to try to get closer to destroying them all. As long as they're within reach of being destroyed, I can, you know, feel a little bit safer. Plus, having only 1 projection in play beats having 19 projections in play. So it's Impossible Shot. The Grotesque Arachnoid. Parse draws. Reveal the flaws. Ongoing. Damage dealt by hero targets is irreducible. That is really good. Really good. It's only good for 1 round, but if a Dark Hero comes out in the next turn and we can't deal with it for whatever reason, that would be fine. Parse draws Gauge. This is deck manipulation, which is Parse's specialty. Mobile Defense Platform plays Shield Generator number 2, so now damage dealt to environment targets is reduced by 2. I feel like the theme of this game is damage reduction. Dreamer reveals Whippicorn. Projection. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the non-villain target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. A target dealt damage this way cannot deal damage until the start of the next villain turn. So that's a little sad. Bear in mind that while it's currently targeting either Chrono-Ranger or Parse, Grotesque Arachnoid 1 hits those 2 plus Ra. Grotesque Arachnoid 2 hits Chrono-Ranger, Parse, and either Mainstay or Ra. And whoever we don't select is then going to be targeted by Whippicorn. So that's really who does not want to deal damage, Mainstay or Ra. The reason that I'm pointing this out before I proceed is because do I want to discard Whippicorn? I think it's okay to discard him. Or not discard him, to leave him in play. Because, like, on one hand, Mainstay wouldn't be able to use Haymaker. Because it... Oh, you could use Haymaker. You wouldn't be able to damage the target, but the next damage dealt to the target would still be irreducible. We wouldn't be able to use Good Hero, Bad Hero, of course. But we could get out an ongoing card. And whatever. And the next damage would be irreducible. And since we do have a bounty in play, Chrono-Ranger could use Masada now. I'm already looking too far ahead. I think it's okay to leave this because I'm still more worried of Dark Heroes. Really, Buffer Overflow is just to prevent a Dark Hero from entering play right now. So let's leave the Whippicorn in play. And whoever is not damaged by this will be the highest HP target. I guess we could leave... We could have it hit Ra. Because Ra could still use Wrathful Gaze. You could put the Staff of Ra out and gain hit points. And use Wrathful Gaze on the Grotesque Arachnoid, which would then kill the Toymaster. So I guess actually I'm gonna let Mainstay not take it. Change of action, but I think that's a little better. Now we have taken quite a bit of damage, but all of these cards target non-villain targets. So the shield generators are reducing damage dealt to environment targets. If the heroes get to 6 HP or fewer, then we can start counting the shield generators as non-villain targets with highest HP, and they're gonna soak up the damage for us. That's a thought. Of course, it will fall apart once an environment target comes out that deals damage. But that's a thought. Alright, let's put out Sentinel Tactics, I think. I think that's the time for Sentinel Tactics. So what do we want to do? Focus on the Grotesque Arachnoid, I think? I could now do Haymaker and then TK Thump afterwards. That's a thought. Because then TK Thump would reduce damage dealt by a target dealt damage this way. Chrono-Ranger has yet to use Displaced Armory. We can actually Displaced Armory into Neurotoxin Dart Thrower. And unlike TK Thump, I don't have to deal damage with this for the damage reduction to occur. So I could use whatever it was, the Neurotoxin Dart Thrower on the Whippocorn to reduce its damage by 1. So this would then deal 0 melee damage, and therefore dealt no damage, and therefore its effect is meaningless. However, I could do the same thing on the Grotesque Arachnoid, who does more damage. Highest HP target is currently Medico or Parse or Chrono-Ranger. Medico's fine with not dealing damage, so I guess I could just stop the Arachnoid from doing things. Sentinel's draw is Horrifying Dichotomy. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I could also just put the Masada out, and then I could do 1 point of damage because I already used up the Irreducible hit. The issue though, well, I guess the Toy Master is getting destroyed anyway because of Grotesque Arachnoid and the whole gang. So I don't need to worry about equipment cards as much. I would like to get more ongoing cards out once we get the Dreamer flipped, but let's do the Neurotoxin Dart Thrower game. So now that Arachnoid... Oh, I actually have to use this. I sort of wasted that blow, but it wasn't going anywhere anyway, so it doesn't matter. But now the Arachnoid is doing 0 damage. Terrible Tech Strike. Alright. Raw cannot deal damage right now, right? Raw cannot deal damage. I can still summon Staff though. We have 1 Staff in my deck and I get to draw a card. So let's go ahead and summon Staff. Staff of Ra, we draw another Fire Blast. Remember, I can't deal damage. So if I put out Living Conflagration, I would not deal damage with its entering play effect. If I play Flame Spike, I get to use an additional power, but I don't get the 1 fire damage effect, which actually might be a little better. I could use, you know, Sunrise and Wrathful Gaze, and if I use Fire Blast, that's a waste of a card. But I think Staff of Ra is it, because that's his hit points. And now I can destroy the Grotesque Arachnoid. And now I actually have a choice with the whole gang. I could destroy the Arachnoid or the Toy Master, but the Arachnoid is not dealing damage right now, whereas Toy Master is now going to deal 2 damage. So let's get rid of the Toy Master. It also has more hit points. So we just destroyed 2 targets, despite Ra being incapable of dealing damage, thanks to Wrathful Gaze. Hopefully you remember this in your future games when you think to yourself, Wrathful Gaze, that's such a dead card. Okay. So while I could do 1 point to the Arachnoid, 1 point to the Whippocorn, or I could look at the top card of Dreamer's deck. And if it's a Dark Hero, I could move it to the bottom of the deck and therefore keep buffer overflow, as well as draw a card. Or I could let the Dark Hero interplay, although the Dark Hero is going to be tough to take out. It's 5 hit points with DR of 2. I could put Critical Multiplier out, but other than Recompile, I don't have discard means. I could put Reveal the Flaws out, but I don't think I have enough ongoing cards yet to feed the Flip Destruction. So I think I have to play some ongoing that's going to stay in play, so either Critical Multiplier or Gauge. So let's use Gauge. And I don't know, I don't think 1 point of damage is worth it, so let's do some deck manipulating. And I could do it on mobile defense platform, but I feel like prioritizing Dreamer is better. Oh boy, Dark Hero! No, bottom of deck, please. You draw Reveal the Flaws. Sorry, Parse draws Reveal the Flaws. And her draw is Quick Calculation. Mobile defense platform plays Battalion Gunner, minion. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals each hero target 1 energy damage. There's our damage dealer. And it has a DR of 2. And it only hits hero targets. Well, at least it's not hitting Dreamer. Dreamer plays Granite Oni. Projection. Reduce damage dealt to this card by 1. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the non-villain target with the lowest HP 2 melee damage, which is the Battalion Gunner. So I'm going to leave that in play. It does have DR itself, though. This doesn't matter. It's getting reduced to 0. Ross still cannot deal damage, but that's never stopped him. Granite Oni tried to hit the Battalion Gunner and couldn't. Alright, so Ross still can't deal damage. The Idealist is the lowest HP hero, but she has only 1 lost hit point. Mainstay can deal 3 damage. Medico can deal 3 damage. Wraith can deal 3 damage. Each hero target regains 1 HP. Idealist probably would deal 3 targets 2 psychic damage or 1 psychic damage to environment targets. Granite Oni is going to be rough with the damage reduction. So again, Mainstay's damage reduction effect doesn't have, the damage doesn't have to go through, but if the damage doesn't go through, Sentinel Tactics doesn't trigger. Unless I play a one-shot that deals damage, in which case I could still use a power. And actually, so say I use this and I hit Grotesque Arachnoid. If I use Telekinetic Wallop, have the Idealist hit like the Grotesque Arachnoid, that triggers one of the Sentinels, or you may use a power. Mainstay uses Haymaker on a Granite Oni that deals 0 damage, but the next damage dealt to that target is irreducible. If I then use Telekinetic Wallop on Granite Oni, that will deal 3 irreducible psychic damage, which would be good. So if I can get it down, to 4, because we still have Ranger's Mark, and Whole Gang is now in my trash, but if I use Ranger's Mark, I could play this on a target. And Ranger's Mark puts that card from the trash into play. So then if we could like destroy the Grotesque Arachnoid, that would then take out the Granite Oni, and we'd be left with the Whippocorn. Or I could try to take out the Whipcorn, leave the Granite Oni because he's targeting environment cards. If I use the Neurotoxin Dart Thrower on the Battalion Gunner, then it's not dealing any damage, which is... That means that we could just have the Granite Oni, you know, just target the Battalion Gunner and fail, but target him nonetheless. And again, we could do the same trick with Wrathful Gaze that we did last time, provided that we can get the Grotesque Arachnoid down to 2 and Whipcorn down to 4. I think Telekinetic Wallop would actually do that, wouldn't it? How many ongoings do we have in play? Does this say how many ongoings we have? No, it doesn't. We have Sentinel Tactics, nothing here, Wrathful Gaze, Buffer Overflow, Gauge. We need one more ongoing card, and if it's a bounty, it's gonna get destroyed, but by the time the projection is destroyed, so that one doesn't count. I don't know, I don't think we can... I was just thinking maybe we could try to find a way to get Granny Oni destroyed. But I think just taking out the Whipcorn is fine. So Telekinetic Wallop would do that, pretty sure. Idealist deals this damage. And the one that we know we can hit for sure and not worry about the consequences is the Arachnoid. Sentinels may use a power, so... Like, I would most want to use this on Granite Oni. But if I do that, then I can't get the Whipcorn down to 4. Which sucks. Because I have to use Ranger's Mark, so I can't play like Terrible Tech Strike. And Ranger's Mark isn't going to be able to hit the Whipcorn, nor will Neurotoxin Dart Thrower, and Raw can't deal damage. So I have to do this on Whipcorn. And then that for sure puts it down to 4. And Granite Oni not only takes 1 point of damage from this, but it's 1 point of damage. 1 more than 0. So I could use... Oh, I can't actually use this. This can't hit anything. The irreducible effect has already been used. We don't need to move a target to the bottom of its deck instead, so let's enjoy HP, which now that all of the Sentinels have taken damage, this will have maximum effect. And draw a card, which is Telekinetic Wallop. And the card draw is Human Shield. So we have, if we want to destroy the Whipcorn, we need the whole gang. So put that on the Grotesque Arachnoid. And this is not going to hit anyone. So let's not do that. If I do Neurotoxin Dart Thrower on Battalion Gunner, though, it won't go through, but it now can't hit us. Chrono-Ranger draws Eye in the prize. So... I still don't really want to play Living Conflagration until I can deal damage, so let's put out Wrathful Gaze. I know I already have 1 in play, but it's ongoing fodder. And let's use Wrathful Gaze again. And destroy the Whipcorn with that. So we've now destroyed 4 targets without dealing damage with Raw. Flash of the Sun God, Raw drew. Now, it might be wise to play Reveal the Flaws, because then we could hit Granite Oni very easily. Plus whatever Dreamer plays. That might be what we need to do, because now we do have enough ongoing cards. We do need to, you know, progress in this game. We have 1 there, we have 2 here, and we have one with Gauge, and we want to keep Buffer Overflow. So that's 4 ongoing cards that can be used to feed the Dreamers 4 hero ongoing cards or destroyed clause. So, yeah, let's reveal the flaws. So now damage dealt by hero targets is irreducible. So I can actually hit the Granite Oni with Pinpoint Shot and do 2 points of damage to it. But we still have another round of effects to deal with. Or rather, like powers, damage dealing, whatever. And certainly, like, Chrono-Ranger can now get past the damage reduction so much more easily, so I think I'm still going to manipulate Dreamer's deck. We reveal a Whippicorn. This one would probably cramp us, though. So, oh no, because Medico is the highest HP, right? Medico is fine to take that damage, because it's not going to change, you know. Like, the next card Dreamer plays could be a Dark Hero, and then I'd have to destroy Buffer Overflow to my dismay. So let's leave it on top. Parse draws another Buffer Overflow, as well as Reveal the Flaws. So we have 2 more Reveal the Flaws, and another Buffer Overflow. Mobile Defense Platform plays Battalion Brute. Minion. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 1 melee and 1 lightning damage. So I guess it's not Dr. Medico after all. So someone's not going to deal damage. So Whippicorn comes out. Let's leave it in play. Grand Oni can't hit Battalion Gunner. We actually have a massive choice here. And all of these are fine candidates, I guess. Although, well, is Wraith even capable of dealing damage? Oh, I guess with Horrifying Dichotomy. Oh boy. Well, we have to do 12 points of damage. Ra with Living Conflagration can do 5 points by himself. Chrono-Ranger, although his base power is probably going to be used to stop the Battalion Gunner or the Battalion Brute from dealing damage, although Idealist would also probably... I guess Idealist and Chrono-Ranger together can stop the minions from hitting the heroes, at least. We could also opt to have them aim at the Dreamer, so she deals less damage, but... I'll just hit Wraith, because that leaves the most options open in terms of damage dealing. So, Sentinels now has Human Shield, which is an ongoing card. So, let's put it this way. We're flipping Dreamer. So, since we are flipping Dreamer, we're going to be taking a lot of damage. Because she's going to flip... She's going to destroy 4 hero ongoing cards. We need to know what 4 we're destroying. And at the end of her turn, she's going to deal each non-villain target 3 psychic damage because of the advanced clause. And then play extra cards. And the extra cards are fine because that's more projections. As long as we can survive the projections, which currently is questionable, Human Shield would be a means of being able to redirect damage, or it's a means of having another ongoing card to destroy later. But we don't have damage reduction on Mainstay because we haven't gotten his style out. Style? Is it style? Signature out. We haven't gotten his signature out. But it would be ongoing fodder because we have I always have to double check this. We have one there, we have 2 here, we have 1 here. Reveal the flaws is going to get destroyed. Buffer overflow has to stay in play for... I guess, well, we could have buffer overflow be destroyed and then we get an extra projection, but then we lose a lot of control. But I mean, you know, if we're gonna lose in 1 round, that's an option in the future. Telekinetic Wallop would actually do a lot right now. This would take out... This would do 3 damage to Oni, 3 damage to Whippicorn, 3 damage to the Battalion Gunner, plus our powers. I mean, this is probably one of the better damage-dealing cards we have because it does spread damage without hitting the Dreamer. But it means we would be able to destroy the damage-dealing minions and not have to deal with sacrificing damage elsewhere. I think Telekinetic Wallop is what I'm going to do. So I want to have this done well so that when it comes to Parse's turn, when Reveal the Flaws is destroyed, I still don't have projections to destroy. Ideally, I destroy the minions and I destroy the projections. So how do I spread the damage around so that that happens? I guess since Chrono-Ranger has a lot of instances of 1 damage, I could do Telekinetic Wallop and do 3 on the Gunner, 3 on the Brute, and 3 on the Oni. And then Mainstay could do 2 on the Oni and take out the Oni. Idealist could do 1 on the Brute. So we've lost a projection and we've lost 2 minions on the Sentinel's turn. And Whippicorn has not been touched. Is that right? So then Chrono-Ranger and Ra could just focus on them because Ra by himself is dealing 5 damage. And then there will be no other targets to hit. So Parse could really do whatever. I'm going to do that, assuming that I did this correctly. Idealist has to deal this damage. Hit the Granite Oni. Sentinels can use a power. Mainstay uses Haymaker, takes out the Granite Oni. And then Telekinetic Wallop takes out the Battalion Gunner. And I guess it doesn't fully matter where it goes, but let's just prioritize taking these out. And then we can take it out for good with 1 damage here. Yeah. There we go. Sentinels draws Horrifying Dichotomy. So Ra's doing 5. Living Conflagration enters play, does 3 damage. Power deals 2 damage. Alternatively, I could throw the staff. If I throw the staff, that does 4 damage. Enters play, deals 3 damage. So Ra could take out the Whippicorn by himself. Throwing the staff would have the benefit of letting him play another staff on the next turn and regain 3 hit points, which is going to be pretty important with the Dreamer's damage. But then he couldn't play like Fire Blast or Flame Spike. So is Chrono-Ranger... So I want to use Neurotoxin Dart Thrower on Dreamer because she's going to do 3 damage to everyone right now. Let's try to stay alive by hitting her the teeniest bit. So 1 point of damage to the Dreamer saves us 1 point of damage across all the heroes. That's probably a worthy exchange. But what is the means of doing enough damage to Whippicorn before that point? Terrible Tech Strike does 1 too many points of damage, but if I do Eye on the Prize, I deal 1 point of damage, and then I can draw a card and play a card. So I have another possible 1 point of damage I can use, and I have several cards already that can do that extra point of damage. So Eye on the Prize, hit the Whippocorn. We draw another Terrible Tech Strike, so I think I'm gonna just do my job, because the heroes do have a variety of cards now that they could discard. So let's do that. So Sentinels probably don't really want to discard a card if we want to keep Human Shield. Horrifying Dichotomy is good damage dealing. Restorative Burst will save an incapacitated hero, and that deals damage. So Sentinels are going to keep their cards. Chrono-Ranger is discarding a Terrible Tech Strike better? Is a random card draw better than Terrible Tech Strike? Because I want to keep Bounty Board, and I want to keep Masada. Although it's hard to keep. Well, we don't have any projections, or not projections. We don't have any bounties. So I guess Masada's not really that useful. And it could be recovered if I get Displaced Armory. Because we'll have to draw a bounty, get it into play before Masada could have any use. So I'm going to discard Masada. I don't think fire damage is happening. Is there fire damage in this game? Villains don't do fire. Well, both defense platform doesn't do fire, so Flesh of the Sun God is just ongoing fodder. If we had Critical Multiplier, Parse would be able to increase damage with this discard, but I don't think I need to reveal the flaws, do I? Once she's flipped, damage reduction is less of an issue. Although we still have the environments to deal with if they come back out. Kill on sight, Eye on the Prize, Hunter and Hunted. So now do the 1 point on the Whippocorn, and now Ra can take him out. And now Neurotoxin Dart Thrower on Dreamer. Reduce damage dealt by Dreamer by 1. And Chrono-Ranger draws Jim's hats. There we go, Jim's hats. Alright, so Living Conflagration we needed to play. Hit the Whippocorn. And then use this to take out the Whippocorn. So we've successfully cleared the board of projections! She's gonna flip and the game gets fun. Flame Barrier. This is not a card we want to play in this game. Because if the Dreamer hits Ra, then Ra hits Dreamer. That is unnecessary damage. Alright, so again, counting the number of ongoing cards, because this is important. Sentinels has 1. Chrono-Ranger has 0. Ra has 3. And Parse has 1 that is not Buffer Overflow. So there are 5 non-Buffer Overflow cards. Ongoing cards. So 4 of those can be destroyed. If I play Critical Multiplier, we have a 6th one. If I play Reveal the Flaws, I could play it just to have it be destroyed. I could play a 2nd Buffer Overflow and be really prepared for the next turn. Reveal, quick calculation, reveal top 3 cards. 1 on the bottom, 2 in my hand. That's basically draw 2 cards, but... oh boy! Let's get Critical Multiplier out. Because at worst we could just destroy it. And I don't need to deal damage, so let's control... well, I guess it doesn't really matter, right? Well... Dreamer flips... oh, when she flips, she doesn't shuffle her trash into her deck. That's interesting. Right? At the start of the villain turn, if there are no projection cards in play, 4 hero ongoing cards are destroyed and the Dreamer flips. And there's no text here about when to flip to this side, shuffle the villain trash into the villain deck. Are there cards that do that? Well, I guess basically I could just control the Dreamer's next card play, although it's slightly less effective because she plays a card, and then at the end of her turn she plays 2 cards, so... only losing one card, but yeah, let's just do the Dreamer. Projected paralysis. That's not a projection. And now we want projections to be in place so that we can destroy them. So let's put this on the bottom. We draw a targeting arrow. Parse draws a targeting arrow. And a between the lines. Mobile defense platform plays Sky Deck. Level. When this card enters play, destroy any other level cards. Whenever a target is destroyed, put it under its associated deck. Alright. So it is sort of, you have to be sort of careful, I guess, with that, because the text here says whenever a projection card is destroyed, it is placed under this card. Whereas Sky Deck says whenever a target is destroyed, put it under its associated deck. So where does it go? Under the deck or under Dreamer? And that's going to be a fun challenge to figure out which happens. We're going to have a choice, and I'm going to have to choose correctly, otherwise I lose mint. We don't need 2 Wrathful Gazes, so that's the easy choice. Do not destroy buffer overflow. Wrathful Gaze was fun, but I think maybe we don't need it as much now that we have a damage dealer. Living Conflagration. So let's lose the second Wrathful Gaze. I don't want to lose Sentinel Tactics, but I have to do 2 more of these. So I don't have another damage dealer with Raw, right? Oh, I do have another Living Conflagration. Okay, never mind. We can lose that one. And a 4th card and last card. Gauge we've utilized it, but it's not Parse's best deck manipulation card. She doesn't have her better deck manipulation card. Would ideally keep Critical Multiplier. Maybe recompile the next turn. And Sentinel Tactics is always good because of being able to use extra power. So let's lose Gauge. Now we're losing a little bit of deck manipulation, but we still have buffer overflow. Violent Nightmares. 1-shot. Reveal cards from the top of the villain deck until 2 projection cards are revealed. Put them into play. Discard the other revealed cards. Shuffle the villain trash into the villain deck. Alright, so the trash is getting shuffled. That's how you shuffle it. I do want projections, and since we still have buffer overflow, we'll have a little bit of control. Granite Oni is in play, and it's still targeting Shield Generator, so it's fine for now. We're not discarding it. And Macabre Spectre. Projection. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals each non-villain target 2 psychic damage. Whenever a target other than this card is destroyed, restore this card to its maximum HP. This one is going to suck. This one I'm going to have to think about. Because, I mean, there's certainly one more left in the deck, but then we have the ones in the trash shuffling in, so it's going to be a little complicated. This one sucks. It only has 3 HP, though, so it's easy to destroy, but that's going to be, because of the advanced rule, increased damage dealt by villain targets by 1. This is dealing 3 psychic damage, plus the Dreamer's 2. So we're taking 5 psychic damage across the board, plus whatever other projections enter play. Also, I guess... Oh, Night Terrors deals damage. Oh, that's going to be an awful card. I'm going to leave the Macabre Spectre because I'm worried about Violent Nightmares. I don't think the order matters. Oh, and here's Night Terrors. 2 projections, plus 1 is 3, plus 1 by Dreamer is 4, minus 1 is 3. I wanted to save the buffer overflow for a Dark Hero but Night Terrors is too much damage. So we're discarding Night Terrors. So Buffer Overflow is destroyed. Parse draws between the lines. We play the top card of Dreamer's deck, which is Treacherous Ape. I didn't read that one. Grotesque Arachnoid is the second card play. Treacherous Ape, projection. At the start of each hero's turn, this card deals that hero character card 2 energy damage. When this card is destroyed, destroy 1 equipment card. It only has 2 HP. Which is good. Grand Oni's still targeting environment cards. That's not going to last for long, though. This is hitting all of us. This time I am going to fast forward. 3 damage across the board. 1 to the shield generators. Who's considered to have the highest? So I think, yeah, it's a 4-way tie for highest. So who do we not want to hit is the basic question here. If Ra had thrown his staff, we wouldn't have this dilemma. Although I guess once we destroy the Treacherous Ape, we could destroy the Staff of Ra, so Ra could play the Staff of Ra and regain hit points. So I guess Ra is definitely going to take damage. I don't know how we're going to survive this. We're basically going to need to survive the next round and hope that there are 4 projections in play, because we're not going to survive for much longer. We're going to need to play HP recovery cards, especially with Sentinels. Sentinels can let us regain 1 HP, and that's it as far as HP recovery goes. Mainstay can regain more hit points if Medico uses his regen power. And I need to keep Parse alive. Okay. Ugh, man. Alright, so I'm doing this video on a Sunday, and so this one shot has been out for 6 days. I've not read up on how other people have faced in this game, except I have heard that this is a difficult one shot, so this is going to be fun. Alright, so Treacherous Ape. Deal that hero character card 2 energy damage. Since this is the Sentinels, we actually have a choice. So that's useful. Well, I'm going to need to keep Medico active in order for Sentinels to be able to come back to life, so we're going to hit the Idealist. And I really wish... I don't know how this is going to work. We need to keep people alive, so let's regain hit points. This is the only card that lets us regain hit points. Good hero, bad hero would let Idealist regain 3 hit points. Restorative Burst is across the board. So let's do this in hopes of staying alive through one more round. And now Mainstay could destroy the Treacherous Ape himself. So now this is where things get fun. So Macabre Spectre can act first. It gets HP recovery. Now you have to be really careful. And I think that... So you have to be really careful because... So if I select Dreamer first, Dreamer puts it under her card. Then Skydeck says put it under the Dreamer's deck. So I think that means that the final target is under Dreamer's deck. If I select Skydeck first, it goes under Dreamer's deck. Then Dreamer takes it from underneath her deck and puts it under her card. If I logicked this wrong, then we'll rewind and fix this. And we'll lose the mint, but if I die, then I wasn't minting anyway. So I think Skydeck first puts it under her deck, and then Dreamer puts it underneath her. No, it didn't. Okay, that was a lie. So I have to undo. I did that. I guess that was wrong. So Macabre Spectre can act, and then Dreamer acts, puts it underneath her card, and then, okay, Skydeck doesn't move it from under her. Oh, geez. That's annoying. We're losing one of these cards. We're losing Staff of Ra because we can get it back. Sentinels can use a power. I want to have Medico let us regain hit points, but I might have the Idealist hit the Dreamer as well as Chrono-Ranger hit the Dreamer so that we save ourselves a lot of damage in the next turn. Team communication. Alright, so Jim's hat is always the play. Oh boy, and now what? Terrible Tech Strike would take out the Macabre Spectre. That one's the massive damage dealer. Granite Oni is still targeting Shield Generator, that's okay. So then our next target would be the Grotesque Arachnoid. I could Eye on the prize. Let's start with Eye on the prize. I could do this on the Macabre Spectre. We need to take out the Macabre Spectre before anything else if we start damaging it because it regains hit points. Whenever something else gets destroyed, we draw Hunter and Hunted. So Terrible Tech Strike now is the better play. Macabre Spectre. Dreamer X first. Puts underneath her. And then hit the Grotesque Arachnoid. And now Toxin Dart Thrower on Dreamer. We can do this 2 more times. She's at 3. Displaced Armory. So Staff of Ra regains hit points. And then I can throw the staff. This will do 4 damage to the Grotesque Arachnoid. Because I think basically I'm just going to play the staff and throw the staff so I have it destroyed. So I could play it the next turn. Ra draws Flame Spike. So oh yeah, between the lines, if that power deals damage, the damage is irreducible. That can help with Granite Oni or Dark Hero. But I think Buffer Overflow needs to come back. It needs to come back. And now I can do 2 points with the Grotesque Arachnoid. Parse draws Recompile. So the Arachnoid survives. That might be bad. Battalion Brute doesn't hit the Grotesque Arachnoid. Ra can regain hit points. So we'll hit him. Alright, so 2 projections under her. Violent Nightmares. So let's let it go off. We have Whippocorn. I don't know if that's good or bad. Grotesque Arachnoid's gonna hit Parse, Ra, and Wraith. No, Medico. Parse. Well, Parse, Medico, and then either Wraith or Ra, and then whoever it doesn't hit is gonna be hit by the Arachnoid. So Wraith could be hit by it, so that's fine. The second one is a Whippocorn. Man, this is annoying. Can I have Tooth Fairies now? I have more cards to discard. Those don't deal damage. Those keeps us alive. Oh wait, this does non-villain. Oh, but we're still higher than 5. So where does that put us? Oh no, wait. So Dreamer's gonna hit us currently for 1 each. Granite Oni is going to hit Shield Generator. Well, wait. So Dreamer hits each non-villain target. So she's not going to hit the environment targets, though, because of all the damage reduction. But the Granite Oni will hit the Shield Generator as long... Like, it's going to be tied with Idealist. Idealist? Idealist. But... unless she plays a one-shot that deals damage, then Idealist will be lower, so then Granite Oni will hit Idealist. And then the Arachnoid is going to hit Parse and Medico. And then there's going to be 2 at 6, unless someone else takes damage. So we hit one of them, they're going to be taking 3 damage from the Arachnoid. So they're going to be put down to 3, which means that the first Whippocorn stops one of the heroes from dealing damage. The other one stops the shield generator with 5 HP from dealing damage, which is okay. So we can leave this one in play. So here's the damage. Treacherous Ape. That one's fine, only has 2 hit points. Illusory Demon. That one's probably going to target... Hopefully will target... If it's not targeting a shield generator, then it's going to kill a hero. So I have to be careful here. Good news is there are now 6 projections in place, so if we can kill them all, the game is won. The bad news is we have to kill them all. So where are we at then? Oh man, I wish we could just have like a preview button. I mean, that's a really complicated one to have, but let's see. So we've done the Dreamer's damage. We're on the Granite Oni right now. Or no, we're at the card play. So the Dreamer has done her damage. So next is the Granite Oni. The Granite Oni is going to target either Idealist or Environment. So obviously it's targeting Environment. Grotesque Arachnoid is hitting Parse and Medico and either Wraith or Ra. So Sentinels does have team communication. That's good. Because the best damage dealer we have on Sentinels is 3 and 3, except it requires Horrifying Dichotomy to be used, which has Wraith dealing damage. Ra can do 5 damage with Fire Blast, or 4 damage with the Staff of Ra, and he regains hit points. But I doubt that he'll be able to survive another round. Anyway, so I guess Wraith is probably going to take that damage, or Ra will take the Grotesque Arachnoid damage, so that's going to put him down to 3, because this is 2 plus 1 is 3. So Ra's down to 3, Wraith is at 6. The Whippocorn hits Wraith, puts him down to 6. Or down to 3. Wraith cannot deal damage. The second Whippocorn hits the shield generator, and that's 2 plus 1 minus 2 is 1, so it's going to put the shield generator down to 4. The Illusory Demon then is targeting one of the things with 4, right? Wait, hold on. No, because... No, I miscalculated, because I'm forgetting about Parse. Parse is at 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. That's the Grotesque Arachnoid. Oh, and also Mainstay's at 5, by the way, so... And Chrono-Ranger. It's... Alright. I'm sorry, but this is a really difficult call, and I don't want to mess this up. Although, I guess I already rewinded, right? So I've already lost the mint, so it doesn't really matter at this point. If I leave it in play, it's going to either destroy Mainstay or Parse. Or Chrono-Ranger, because that's 4 plus 1. If I destroy Mainstay, I lose his power, obviously. And I would need to be able to revive him with my card play if I want to get him back. If I incap Parse, we have draw a card, shuffle their trash, reveal the top card of the villain deck and replace it. Chrono-Ranger has play a card, use a power, deal 1 damage. Oh, jeez. I'm not happy with the Illusory Demon, but what if I destroy the Illusory Demon and I get a Dark Hero out? Well... I mean, even though I've already rewinded, I want to keep this honest. So I don't want to discard the Illusory Demon and then reveal a Dark Hero and then go, okay, let's not do that and rewind. That's against the spirit of this game. So what do I do? I don't want to lose Mainstay. I don't want to lose Parse. I don't want to lose Chrono-Ranger. Let's leave it in play. Hit a shield generator. Who's considered to have the third highest? Whoever's not hit by this will not deal damage. So let's hit Raw. Wraith can't deal damage. Oh, I guess I could save. If I make one of these heroes not deal damage, we could save one of them from the Illusory Demon. That's a lot of damage. Well, I guess it's a lot of damage either way. But they all want to deal damage. I can't figure this out. There's a lot of damage I need to do, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, and I feel like I'm going to die. At least with Parse, I could use Between the Lines to let another hero use a power. That's the one thing I have going for me. Even if she can't use a power, even if she can't deal damage, she can let someone else use a power. If Chrono-Ranger can't deal damage, it's truly unfortunate because he has a lot of damage dealing capabilities. However, it's a little bit of do a little here, do a little there damage, but he can actually stop the Dreamer from dealing damage without, or reduce the Dreamer, reduce damage dealt by the Dreamer without having to hit the Dreamer. But that's not really going to save us this game. We could Displaced Armory, but we don't have, like, anything. Anything that would be really useful. Because we don't have any bounties in play. Like, Chrono-Ranger could play 2 cards with Jim's hat, so we could, like, play Kill on Sight and Hunter and Hunted and have a damage boost, as well as take extra damage. He could play... Well, Kill on Sight's not going to do anything. He could play Displaced Armory to get... The best thing he could do is Compounded Bow, which will do 1 and 1. And then he could use Terrible Tech Strike, which will do 2 and 1. Displaced Armory will do 1 itself. Terrible Tech Strike is 2 and 1. Compounded Bow does 1 and 1. So that's 1, 2 is 3, 1 is 4, 1 is 5, 1 is 6. 6 damage on his turn, plus 2 more from Parse's turn is 8. That's as much damage as Chrono-Ranger can do. Sentinels, their best damage dealer since Wraith can't deal damage, is 3 damage unless we luck out and we draw a card that does something else. Like, no, not Dark Delusions. Well, yeah, no, Wraith can't deal damage. Never mind, not Dark Delusions. I'm going to be upset if Wraith's not dealing damage is going to hurt us the most. Oh no, wait, no. Oh no, yeah, Wraith still can't deal damage. Wait, yeah. That was the previous Whippocorn. This Whippocorn. So Chrono-Ranger has 8 damage. Mainstay has an unknown amount of damage. Parse has a targeting arrow for 1, increased damage dealt to the target by 1, as well as pinpoint shot, which is 2, which is pretty upsetting. Recompile would do more, because with critical multiplier, Recompile will discard 3 cards. She could increase her next damage by 3, which will do more damage than targeting arrow. Between the lines, we'll let another hero use a power. Chrono-Ranger could do 2 points of damage with this. Sentinels could do 3, unless Mainstay can't deal damage. Quick calculation doesn't do damage. I'm just gonna hit Mainstay. We're gonna lose 2 points on his power, but we're gonna have to figure that out later. I don't think we're gonna do this. I mean, we have to win this turn, so it doesn't really matter. Team communication. Second chance. Horrifying dichotomy. Coordinated assault. Aura of vision. Well, that treacherous ape. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna hit Chrono-Ranger, but. So the best damage dealer is coordinated assault. That's 5 melee damage. Good hero, dark hero, mainstay can't deal damage. Horrifying dichotomy, Dr. Medico deals 3 damage. So yeah, coordinated assault is the best. Taking out the Granite Oni is gonna be a bitch. If I take out the Illusory Demon... You don't really have many ongoings to this try. I feel like critical multiplier is important here. Let's do this on the Granite Oni because it's the biggest hit we can do. And I have to win in this next turn, so we'll just throw this somewhere. I could make the next damage to Granite Oni irreducible. That's the best. Sentinel Tactics. So displaced armory. Search my deck for compounded bow. And we'll save the 2-hit for Granite Oni. We still have the treacherous ape to deal with, and we do have to take him out before Ra's turn. So let's throw this on the Whippocorn, I think. Well, okay, so Terrible Text Strike. Take out the Granite Oni. Put that under Dreamer. Hit the Whippocorn. So now Fire Blast will kill him. Compounded Bow takes out the Treacherous Ape. Put that under Dreamer. We're destroying one of these, so... Chrono-Ranger's dead, so we're gonna lose the Neurotoxin Dart Thrower. Hunter and Hunted. So now Fire Blast the Whippicorn. Put that under Dreamer. And there's really nothing else I can do. I don't think we're doing this. That's not enough damage that Parse can do. I mean, maybe there's a small chance that Parse can survive. Maybe. Let's just do this for maximum damage. I'm not gonna read these cards out because this game's probably over. Small chance that Parse can survive. Actually, no, because the Battalion Brute's gonna hit him. Hit her. Small chance that Idealist survives. That would be crazy. Alrighty. MDP Turbo Lift. When this card enters play, reveal cards from the top of the environment deck until a structure or level card is revealed. Put it into play, discard the other revealed cards, and destroy this card. It revealed Propulsion Systems. That's actually good, just not, well, Structure. If this card is reduced to 0 or fewer HP, everyone dies, game over. And yeah, there we go. Small chance that Idealist survives because Dreamer's doing 3 damage across the board. There's Violent Nightmares. Honestly, I sort of want to discard it. I will, because I don't want 2 projections. I just need to be able to survive. And Dark Hero. Nope. Idealist is dead now. See, that's 4 damage. Well, alright, so instead of... we lost. So let's not discard Violet Nightmares, but let's discard for Dark Hero. So, yay! But... oh, Tooth Fairy. But... attack Caber Spectre, and that kills Idealist. Nothing I can do. So ultimately, I was dead, regardless of... what was I thinking? I was dead regardless of... the selection, I think. I don't know. Yep, and this ends it. You lose. Okay, well. Normally I would go into a second attempt right off the bat, but that scheme was rather long, and so I think I'm gonna take a break, and if I decide to do a second part, we'll just splice the videos together